Oh no, I probably could have, but I didn't. But we'll,
Arts TV while we're waiting. Ah! No! Is the glitch gonna happen? No! Don't! Oh, the glitch not gonna happen.
all right, you're
No!
good.
We're up against this guy! No! He's
All
gonna
right.
stall! He's
Oh,
gonna
does he
stall!
still?
The dishonor! Look, he's just gonna stand there! He's just gonna stand there!
I don't know the
Look,
different.
he's trash!
I don't know the
No,
different
I played
players
too
too
many
much anymore.
times. He's a toxic player.
Okay.
LOL. Let's spam everything. Come on, come on, come here.
I mean, if you want to change it up so that we don't like end up wasting a ton of time, that's fine.
Bro, look at it.
Yeah, no, turn one decisions obviously don't take that long.
Turn one decisions are so hard. Do I play lumberjack? Do I play card? Do I play filthy pheasant? Do I play this card or this card? Or do I pass? Or do I use coin and play a 2-drop? Oh my god, the decisions are so hard. My goodness. He's playing Last Will, which is even more annoying. And I don't have a 2-drop in hand. God damn it.
So tell me about your positioning. You put him two in front of castle compared to three in front of the spawn spot. Is there
I don't know. That rarely matters.
no,
Just
but like all the little
if I have
things
a
add up.
priest, if I top deck a priest, I want it to survive from a lumberjack.
Yeah.
You know?
That's one way to put it. Normally, the way I look at it is if my opponent's not playing pirates, I usually rush my turn one card three spaces forward. So say I
You're doing
play
that so that because of Elvish Thief, correct?
Elvish Thief,
Elvish
yeah.
Thief is a bad trade to Solar. Sure, you get one extra treasure,
No, so
but
for
you save a coin, and
yeah,
it's a 2-for-1 trade. It's a
so
2-for-1
yeah,
trade.
more for a lumberjack, I guess. If
And you
I
deal 2 damage to their face, which is very
yeah,
big.
for the scorpion or the rider, I guess you
And
call
this
him,
guy is just standing there.
it's probably better
He is
to.
just AFK.
It probably doesn't matter too much, but
God damn it.
there he goes. But for a lumberjack, if I
That's
rush a
so
lumberjack
annoying.
forward and he coins into a elvish thief, then he survives, but he's in a spot where he can't attack my castle anymore. So say he runs something that's not elvish thief, then he's in a worse position than if it had been two in front of castle.
Just trade lumberjack. Dead. If he has a blue fire, he has a blue fire. What am I supposed to
No,
do?
yeah, no, that's exactly right. Like you
Oh, he has a blue fire.
make him
Congratulations, caller.
react
He has a blue fire. Congratulations, you have a
if
blue
you're
fire. Nice
if
try.
no, he's got a coin.
Here's the real question. Do I blue fire defective?
Um, I mean, blue defective isn't gonna kill him, is it? It only does
Blue
two.
fire defective. Get 6 damage.
Sorry. You're doing both. I thought you meant do I do blue fire or defective? Because you could do blue fire and then just trade, and your books would live as a 3-1 as well. Uh, I
Yeah.
I don't
But
I
what
don't
if
recommend I don't recommend doing blue fire and defective this early because you're against Crusaders and he could heal it up later on in the game. So pushing
I mean,
early damage isn't.
most of the time I would blue fire defective it because
Yeah, if
oh
you're up against a color combo with no healing, it might be a better.
wait, he uses I know the deck he's running. He's running Last Will.
Yeah,
He doesn't run any heals except for like arbiters. I know that for a fact.
right. So if you think you
Okay,
can,
oh my god, the time's up.
yeah,
I don't have
it's
time.
if you if you think you can push him down early game before he gets to 9, then burning him out is totally cool. But the thing about defective is that it can hit face later. So you're
Look
oh,
at this. What is
oh,
that?
that's not even good
What are you
positioning.
doing, mate? That's not a mage. What are you doing? What is his brain power?
I mean, he must have a
Like,
pretty bricked hand.
I'm gonna play this card. Private. Yes.
So what are you thinking for next turn? He's got nothing to do
I
here
don't
but
know. I
pass.
could either go flying books for draw, or I could go Knight of Flowers, or it depends on what I top deck. If I top deck headless, I can just play headless, and just goes on and on. It depends on what I draw.
Yeah,
But if I don't draw anything good, I'm just gonna play like either flying books or Knight of Flowers. Either stats or draw.
right.
And
So what's your thought right now? Like, what are you prioritizing? Say you draw like 8 Craxus or something that you can't play. What's your
don't have Praxis.
okay? I don't know. I didn't look at
Archers, I can't play Archers. Fear.
fear. You
Hate
could play
Fear
fear.
right now.
Why not? If you put the books behind his castle
Okay,
and then fear him, it does 3 damage to his face for 1 coin.
oh yes. Oh, that's smart. Wait. Quick question.
Yeah.
Fear ignores things, right? It ignores things.
Um, I I always mess this up. It ignores his own things for sure, but I don't think it okay.
Yeah, ignores our things as well.
Ignores your
So,
things as well, so that works.
so now the question is,
Yeah.
do we go mischievous incinerate or do we just go for
So generally in this deck, you want to save your burn spells till the end because
so we want to play either draw or powers?
yeah, I would suggest power out of the two of them because
It is.
draw you can always draw into more burn later, but power
I
you
think we rush it forward.
yeah.
Rush it forward. Oh my god, I'm gonna beat this guy. It's insane.
Yeah, he's got to have healing unless or else he's not going to be able to do it.
Ooh, that's
Okay, that's actually not bad.
That's dirty. That is insanely dirty.
But still, you've got 4 damage represented in hand, so 3 more to face somehow, and you win.
Forward, I could have hit face and lethal.
Yeah, it might have been a decent strategy to rush it forward because he was only at 5 gold.
It's a genuine good trick. You're right. Oh, if we have
So the other thing to consider for your next turn is not attacking. Like if you can get a bunch of units on the board,
can Dragon's Fire.
like if you trade with him, you deal 4, he does 2, but then you're down. Yeah, he could.
Incinerate Flamestorm. Well, let's check what we draw before we make any big decision.
I would say since you're already up on castle damage, try and save your. Oh, that's big. So if you use all things on face right now, you have 1 damage left. Yeah. See,
So
he'll be down to 1.
we want to do.
So
We're always very well, which do we trade?
I would say you. Oh, I think you have. I think you almost have lethal. If you drain life on his castle, it gets 6 damage on your thing. Then you trade with him, and then.
What?
Sorry, if you drain life his castle, yeah,
Okay, we drain life castle.
and then you've got 6 damage on your knight, and then you can trade and incinerate, and you have a 6/5 thing that he has to deal with.
So we trade it on the bottom.
I would say so, yeah. Either one, they're both the same. Until Mordok's in this, yeah. So now he's got.
Fire do nothing.
You've got
Now he's on pressure.
2 paths towards getting to castle. He has to deal with it or put 2 units in the way. Oh, so he does have heal, but he has 2 gold left, and you've got a big unit on face. So
We have a big boy. We have a big boy. We have a 6.
yeah. So on your next turn, if you can get the 6/5 beside his castle instead of like directly in front of it, it allows you to push your books all the way.
Like this guy.
I can't see your cursor, unfortunately.
I can't point it. God damn it.
Yeah,
Like if we put this here, if we put this card
yeah,
here,
right.
then we rush this forward. No, this forward, and then this forward.
I
Or this forward.
I would do the yeah, I would do the
Flying books here because it's
books
faster.
forward because it has higher health.
I guess that makes sense.
So if he has like Faithful Drake or something like that, he can't kill it off if he
If he
flies over
faithful
your unit.
Drake, he dies.
Yeah, true.
He can't. He doesn't have faithful Drake. He's just standing there. He's just standing there.
Yeah, if he had Faithful Drake, he would have played it that turn.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
that's
don't
good
think I
too.
played that.
No, not
I
yet.
don't think
No, you push units here.
put this forward,
Yeah, definitely.
and we bonk his face. We yeet this forward, and we yeet this.
Nice. Yeah, that's exactly what I would have done too.
This is juicy. Yeah, because he's gonna play like.
Flamestorm. Okay, he's hurting his own castle. Okay, he got the kill on
Oh
that.
my goodness, that could be. That could be.
It would
Could be the card.
it would have to be Eternal Judgment,
So we're gonna draw.
of course. Yeah, and you always draw at the beginning of your turn if you know you're gonna do it that turn. Okay, Headless is pretty strong. Yeah,
We have leaf.
I think you do Headless this turn. Oh, well, there
Oh,
you
we
go.
win! We
Yep,
win! We
easy.
win! Oh, I'm gonna take a picture. Just get. Fuck you, Captain Classic, you stalling ass bitch. Oh, get destroyed. I am not gonna show you mercy.
Man, I didn't realize.
Destroyed.
I didn't realize he was
Every time
gonna
he
play
plays,
like
he
that.
keeps stalling. It's annoying. He's annoying. He keeps
Uh,
stalling.
all right, so that's game one. Let's take a look at the deck and see, like, are all three of your no interaction decks exactly the same list?
No, they're different.
They got slight differences.
They have a wee bit differences, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, this one has Dark Bender.
so
This one has no Dark Bender. This one is similar to this, but the difference is that this has Detonate. This also has Detonate, but this has Dwarf Mine. What's missing here that let's see. It has Knight of Flowers. This thing doesn't have Knight of Flowers. Not that one. Wrong one. This. It doesn't have Knight of Flowers.
okay, I gotcha.
So we have no Knight
So
of
they're
Flowers.
pretty similar to each other. It's just slight differences. Okay, so that's awesome. I like that they're not all the exact same because some people do that. They'll like make two decks the exact same if it's a good deck, and that way they can just like if one deck is too high or high rank for them, it's their highest ranked deck. They'll play the lower ranked one until it's higher, and then and then play the one that's now lower until it's higher. To make sure that they don't drop off, like their highest ranked deck will always be their highest rank.
I definitely do not do that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right, let's talk some deck building though. Yeah.
Alright, which one?
Um,
No
it doesn't.
the Riot.
I would say you already know how to build a rush deck, seeing as you have built a bunch of them before. Why don't we talk? Let's talk about something that you're not as familiar with, like
Globals? I have globals.
sure, anything you want to improve at is the.
Where the hell is my globals? God damn it. I deleted. Okay,
Okay, make a new one. No big deal.
so we're gonna make non-rush decks. Let's make globals. Druid Pirates. This where is it? Where's my boy? Where's
So what are you considering when you make a deck? You just like put in the auto includes early game, yeah.
the problem with people is that they don't mulligan, they don't run early game. They keep dying to rush. I do not understand why you guys won't play turn one. Why?
Well,
Do you not include one drops? Like god damn it. You keep dying to rush and you complain, rush is a bad card, but it keeps defeating good decks and you won't run any early game. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, so
Let's
they
include dragon.
obviously need
Include globals. Globals are good.
globals are
Use a
good.
global deck. That's fine.
Globals are kind of broken.
Blacksmith is overrated.
What?
Blacksmith is overrated.
Okay.
That is a sheer fact. We include Rally of the Town. Okay, now let's check these things. The cheese things. Cheese. Bridge Troll is a good card. It's so underrated.
Bridge
Like
troll's
you
not
sit
bad.
down there.
That
This is busted. Why did they? What were they? What was
it's
going through their head when they were like, yes, 2 cost building
yeah.
creates a body, no slow. Yes.
I'd probably put it at the number one card in the game, but
That card's busted.
it is super busted.
We add Sea Witch.
Sea Witch. Why are you doing Sea Witch?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, Sea Witch is like super high risk. There
These
are
are
so
good
many ways
cards.
to remove it with like
These are good cards.
even a lightning. Okay, so basically your strategy so far building this deck has just been like put the good cards and that's it, right?
No, it's not just put the good cards. It has to have synergy, of course.
Yeah,
You can't
okay.
just make good cards.
So tell
This deck is about swarming and creating many big units.
okay, so what are
This makes that worth it.
what are its weaknesses though? What's it losing to?
Let me think. So this deck is like versatile. It has good bodies. It has good early game. It has okay late game. I guess its weakness would be like control. It can't control well. It can't control like back things. Like it only has like companions, and that's about it.
Right, so if someone's running like um freeze and they have good positioning with their pillar or I don't know,
For fun.
or the unit, then you're totally screwed. And if they've
Yeah, like
got
we only have like centaur or like fat, like no, not fat part. Like it's fine. We like if he has good positioning, we're fine. We just need to like make sure that we just make sure that we just don't be in that situation ever.
yeah,
Like
so
whenever Alex Freeze is playing.
you're also you've got to consider that like the 3 drop versus 2 drop aspect of it. Whereas I agree for ladder for the most part, you want to go as many 3 ofs as possible because it makes your deck more reliable, right? You don't want to draw the cards that are slightly weaker.
You mean like twos of each?
Yeah,
I don't do that.
I know.
That's
So,
weird.
but
That's rare. I rarely do that. I do that sometimes, but rarely.
that's because
I just need some.
you're mostly a rush player, right? If you look at consider a control player. If someone's more of a control player, if they put like 2 copies of something and 2 copies of something else instead of, or I don't know, something like that, it gives them more flexibility, and that really starts to matter for the mulligan. And they're like, oh, I'm playing against no interactions. I'm gonna keep my high health units so that they don't get burned away or something like that. They can kind of have more flexibility for what they're going to keep in the mulligan. And another bonus for playing 2 ofs is if you're doing like a tournament, like if you're I don't know, in a open deck list situation, like casting conflicts, then you can, if you can see my deck, we're playing against each other in this example. If you can see my deck and you see that I'm running 1 copy Pillar of Ice, then all of a sudden you have to think, well, maybe he could have Pillar of Ice, so I need to play around that. And just by putting in 1 single card, then you now have to play around that. If I put in like 1 of Winds of Njord, you have to play around that for the entire game. And so it can really mess with people if you're doing it in a tournament setting too.
1 copy of Mercenary, 1 copy of Crack.
Yeah, like it. Well, like obviously in ladder it doesn't matter as much because they can't see your deck list. But
Ladder.
yeah, in ladder it doesn't matter as
This
much.
is being streamed. This is being recorded.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're gonna find about I can fly around my deck now. I
Oh,
can
it
fly
doesn't matter.
higher deck.
The other part about deck building is that, like, sure, theory crafting, which is what we're doing right now, we're building a whole new deck from scratch, is important. You want to like make it as good as you can to begin with, but then you play a few games and you're like, oh, I lost to this one thing, or I almost lost. Like maybe you win, but you keep track of, oh, I almost lost to this. I'm going to modify my deck a little bit to make sure that my deck is stronger against that matchup. And it's really refining your deck is more important than building it for the first time. Boost. um, so that's the thing is like when you're playing the game, don't stop thinking about the deck building process. You want to always be kind of keeping that in the back of your head, looking at like, oh, I'm playing in this matchup and this card that's in my hand is a completely dead card. I can't use it. Maybe you drop a copy of it once the match finishes.
Which of these cards will be dead?
So yeah, in what situation is it a dead card? So I'm looking like Bridge Troll. I agree. If you play Bridge Troll on turn 2, awesome card. Because it makes him lose a gold when he's at turn 2, which is like, okay, half his gold is gone. But say you draw a Bridge Troll on turn 8. Oh no, you just played a Bridge Troll. He's now at 7 gold for his next turn. It hardly matters because at that point in the game, losing 1 gold is not that big of a difference. Often people will end their turn with 1 or 2 gold left over anyway. So that's the thing is like Bridge Troll is really good. If you see it in your mulligan, you keep it. But if you get it late game, it kind of sucks.
So we eat one copy.
Yeah, something like that. And I don't know for sure that that's going to be the best case scenario, but I mean, you'll test it. If you decide, oh no, Bridge Troll is actually performing really well, you can add it back in later. You don't have any range units in so far, which is fine because your curve is so low that like you don't
Solo, we need draw.
you don't need to control the opponent's strategy so much. But if the opponent starts playing range units and they're able to deal with your attacks, then you're kind of in trouble. So like that's why I like Spiny and Centaur and Bestial Rage are great here. But like, what about direct burn stuff? Like, yeah, Dagger Storm or Onslaught, which is basically Dagger Storm but targeted.
You mean like the draw card? Like cost?
Yeah, it's not bad. The problem is it comes in a bit later on into the game, but it's not bad. It can deal with range. It deals with range units really well. I would say 2 copies is pretty good because you're running shamans as well. If you're worried about what else are you worried about? Like Mercenary's Execution, I actually don't love it in this deck because
Yeah, it's too expensive.
it doesn't help you win. Like if you're getting to turn 7 where you can actually play that card, you and they're still alive, you've basically already lost anyway. It's not going to help you come back into the game.
And by the way, that viewers, this is cancer. I don't like using cancer. Okay? Have some standards. God damn it.
Okay, so I would say to round out this deck, it's still a bit of a rush deck, but it's got a bit more survivability into the mid game, like a slightly higher curve. Yeah, I would say you might want to cap it off with something like a Grendel. like a Grendel. Like, remember the positioning we were in where your big Knight of Flowers was protecting your books? If you can get a Grendel into that situation where you're like, there's something protecting your Grendel, then you're in such a good spot. Dealing 6 to face with 5 cost is kind of insane. And you don't really care about the Grendel's last will negative effect because, again, if you've gotten to level 7 or turn 7 and you haven't won with this deck, you're kind of in trouble anyway.
So the real question is,
Okay, so
mulligan?
yeah, what do you mulligan here? You tell me, and then I'll tell you what I would do.
I would mulligan away like blessing or like fat. The thing is, we need early.
Yeah. So was
That shit's good.
Bridge Troll obviously a keep. We talked about that already. Okay, I would say do the same thing just because we're short on time, but then I'm going to keep talking about it after. That's
He came back.
bad luck sometimes happens. But like, did you look at the other guy's colors being red blue?
That's either one war party, two frozen hell. What did he just do? Just chaotic.
Right, but
Just chaotic.
he did. I don't know why. So he obviously didn't have a turn 1 unit play, so playing this Bridge Troll is awesome. He's not going to have
The
a...
real question is, I don't think.
Well, you know he doesn't have a turn 1 unit, so you definitely rush it forward, and then you can keep rushing units behind it with protection. Oh,
Damn it,
he has a turn 2 play. What? All right.
God damn it, dude.
Yeah,
Chill.
probably chill and just play lumber.
Lumberjack.
Yeah.
We play lumberjack. But where do we play lumberjack?
So I would say you probably want to put lumberjack right in front of your castle, and then Bridge Troll right in front of that. Oh no, one space behind that, like directly in front of your castle. Yeah, and then Bridge Troll right in front of that in the space.
This here.
Yeah, and that'll create some pressure without like
I was thinking
giving it away too much. Oh, I mean, on a turn 3 play, yeah. So now you've got Armory, and you can deal with that, or you can.
play arm or we can fat bar and
Well, Fat Bird is worse in the early game because it's gonna hurt you the earlier you play it.
just arm. We armory. And then we trade.
Yeah, definitely. Unless what you want to do, like there is the option. I wish I could point, but if like diagonal 2 spaces above or below the Bridge Troll. That's the easiest way to say it. If you put one of them in that square and then the other one in the other square, you could like delay a turn, and then on your next turn you could trade your Fat Bird with the lumberjack, and
Play this here and then this here. Or
here, yeah, the spot you're hovering now. And the reason we're doing that is only because you know that you have a what do you call it? Another global in hand. Yeah, and so you can make a more effective trade later on in the game if you delay now. You're either trading a lumberjack into it for free, or you're still trading the Bridge Troll, but you're getting to keep the Bridge Troll a turn after. So now
This guy is gaining value.
he is gaining value. That's this deck's weakness, is he's gonna outvalue you if you wait too long. So now's the turn you rush, I think. Fat Bird, Lumberjack, Salahar, rush them all forward. Well, obviously don't rush the Fat Bird forward, but
We put the fat bar down. So we put him right.
yeah, honestly,
There might
Honestly, though, I might have considered putting him right behind where the lumberjack is currently. And just because, like, there's no threat in that square, but he is pushing a bit more presence.
so we eat these.
Yeah, definitely. Just make sure you're not in range of...
Play around. Play around. Play around. Free
Nice.
We chill.
So he's probably gonna trade the Gravestalker into Bridge Troll, and then freezing, what do you call it? Freezing Drake into Salahar would be my guess. Okay, I don't know why he did that.
That is odd.
Yeah, that was strange. You can kill the guard tower. You can...
Yes,
Oh,
Talabos. That kills nothing.
that's... Yeah, it's a little bit scary, but not that bad, really. Because...
Hey, wow.
So you could kill the Talabos, too, if you wanted to, but I don't think it's that big of a threat, honestly. With all your smallest unit, which is a lumberjack, is still 3/3. I would say kill the guard tower while you have a chance, and then just
Guard.
because it's a free trade. Yeah, guard tower is a free trade,
Now,
and then
do we play Rally the Town?
if you play Rally the Town, they will come in as 4/4s, so you can't actually kill the sunflower and survive. But if you play a Salahar Rider, if you play
Play
it,
this.
yeah, Salahar Rider and kill the sunflower, that's a pretty safe trade. Yeah, 1 gold for a 2 gold card,
So we play this. We eat this. Boom.
and then see where that explodes.
And it gets
Hits castle, okay. And then
So we want to play
I would say,
the Dam.
yeah, just hit face. But a trick you can do with Ship of the Damned is move your Fat Bird back 1. Perfect.
Yeah,
You
I
know
that
that one?
trick.
Yeah.
That's like
And then go face.
we hit face.
Perfect.
Do we play around? We play around. We play around freezing.
Sure. Sounds good. Yeah,
Another
so
trick. I've seen that trick before.
that's good. Glad you know that one.
It's a good trick. It's useful.
Okay, he's got a lot of lifesteal, but really it's not that scary because he's only gonna heal 1. And that's his whole turn.
Oh,
You could even...
Jesus.
Actually, that might have been the better pull, to be honest, because that thing's still not gonna trade. Okay, so you got 4/4. But honestly, Rally the Town might be better. Just push more units at him. He probably doesn't have freeze based on the things we've already seen in his deck.
Oh, Kraken's good here.
Kraken's awesome. If
Step forward.
yeah, if the
Kraken is god tier. Kraken is gonna carry.
if he has a way to deal with this next turn of yours, then Kraken will win it eventually.
Oh, that is such a bad. It's too slow. Too slow. You're too slow. Ooh, this game. Game set.
So
Too slow.
what do we take away from this one? Like obviously you won.
Play that. His deck is dumb.
His deck is dumb, but is there a way to improve your deck based on how it performed this time, or
Well,
no?
I don't see any issues. Oh my god, that's brutal. Dude,
Yeah, it's yeah.
we can BM him.
I mean,
BM him.
I mean,
Oh, that's insane. His deck sucks.
yeah.
That sucks.
So
Watching this, remove your card tower.
I mean, that's kind of what happens when it's the first game of the placements. Usually, you just get put up against someone who also doesn't have an optimized deck. Oh, what's happening? Game bugged?
Game bug. It always works.
I don't play too much on mobile, so it's new to me.
They still can't message.
Yeah, messages are dead for Steam too.
I don't understand why. I can message them alone. Now I can't look. Oh look, a lot of my friends are. I can't message them.
Yeah,
La, 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 la.
yeah, I know.
Didn't send.
That one's been around forever, and I don't think it's gonna get fixed, unfortunately.
So,
Okay, so can we go back to that list? Is there anything we can optimize based on what you saw? Were there any dead cards? Not really. I think, yeah,
Yeah, all of them were used
but
made of.
I think it's great to consider that after a game, even if you won it, you know? I think it turned out really well this time.
Analyze the game.
Analyze the game. Oh, it's not going to be on thing.
Wrong one, wrong
No,
one.
no, I got it though. If I stop the recording, then I can stream the recording and we can watch it.
Wrong one. This is the rec captain class.
Yeah, it's since it's not a place deck, so here I'll just set that up. All right, so we're back at the mulligan phase right at the beginning of the game, and playback.
So, what could we mulligan here?
So
Mulligan away the bridge scroll? Could we have kept the blessing? Could we have kept the fat lord?
yeah,
Questions we asked ourselves.
so obviously keeping the bridge troll was the right option. We talked about that already. About like
That
it's
was a augers.
it's great early game.
Just shuts down their turn to play. And
I think Fat Bird early is kind of a trap to keep it because say you play it on turn 3, then you're down a gold for the rest of the game and you're going to get outvalued. So usually you don't want Fat Bird until like turn
or
5.
that, like, turn 5 is to finish the game, or to, like, keep your board alive.
Yeah, it can be versatile, but like probably not super early game. You would rather
We would always mulligan away fat lord.
yeah, generally unless you've got like a
The
1-2-3 curve already or something like that. But
other real question.
the way to approach the mulligan, not only with this deck, but with every deck, is you want to consider, like, is a random card from my deck better than this card that's showing on the screen? And
We can have a one draw.
yeah, that comes from knowing what's in your deck. So you could have a one drop, sure, but you could also draw Kraken, which isn't too useful early on.
Yeah.
And
We did
which did happen, yeah, unfortunately.
it happen,
And so, like,
even though we had like one copy.
since it's a random card that you're getting instead of what you're being shown, I kind of treat it as like a 50-50. Is half of my deck better than this card? Or would I rather have yeah, that's how I kind of treat it.
So Kraken is only a one off in this deck, so it's like it's rare to get.
It's rare to get it. Yeah. It can happen, but it's rare. And then Blessing of Treants, you can keep Blessing of Treants.
Like
But it's
you can have
risky.
a one draw.
Yeah, you could have I think having units early is generally better than having spells.
So
Generally.
generally, we did the correct move.
Yeah, I think it was the correct move. And that's all you can plan for. So let me speed up the replay because we don't need to watch it so slow. I can just pause it when we want to.
Okay. We'll wait. Press done.
Okay, good times.
So now
It was a bit unfortunate that you got Armory back, but
we came back.
yeah, then we talked about the fashion colors and trying to guess the opponent's deck, which was always a good thing to do. I mean,
Our guess was wrong.
our guess was wrong because his deck was kind of random, but
His deck was weird. Tower.
yeah,
Tower. What was he thinking? Defense? I guess
he needed defense. Like, in his situation, I don't know. We don't know what he had in his hand, but he needed to defend or else he's in trouble.
or else he's
So the other option in this position was you could have put, I'll pause it for a moment.
here. Put it right.
You could have switched the position of these two units.
You're right. We could have switched the position of
So what's the difference? Is it like you're pretty sure? Yeah, you're pretty sure that you're playing Armory next turn. And so,
The difference is that if we switch it, Lumberjack is gonna hit instead of Bridge Troll.
right.
Bridge Troll is gonna be the one who's be attacking the unit, that'll be blocking.
Yeah,
So it's really just a matter of like more health, less health, more damage, less damage.
right.
And if it's better to trade.
Well, and
Bomber Jack has the last will draw.
the last will draw is a big factor in this case too. Yeah. So I think this is the right order to do it, but
Yeah.
I like that you considered I think it's good to consider the other option too. The ordering can matter. So anyway, he plays this. I'm not going to talk about optimizing his positioning because, well, we know he made some real mistakes. But
He could have just put it like up like a tile forward, so if we need them out the way, he could like do some. He could have more options.
well, yeah, like he obviously could have put it one space forward with no downside.
Yeah, he could have more options.
I guess maybe he did this because this way the guard tower is kind of protecting his unit. But anyway, what did you think about this move that we ended up doing? Was it the right move?
Go down. It's not bad. It's not bad, I guess. I
Yeah,
rarely do that.
you rarely do that because you're more of an aggressive player. But
God damn it! The freaking. Let me just do something real quick.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
all right.
This.
I just paused it. Nothing happening. So tell me more about this. Is it like, did you like how that went down in this situation?
I'm not.
I mean, the reason I suggested it was because of the guard tower. He has a ranged unit, and you've got a global in hand, which means that your future trade is going to be more value.
Better.
So, yeah, I think in this case it was right because of those both factors combined. And I mean, it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because like there are so many different
You got
situations
better.
that could have happened, but
And then here's where you said it. Go bomb rush.
yeah, because we realized that you had more value in units. Like, sure, he's going to spawn two zombies, but they can't attack in his
Those
next
zombies,
turn.
they can't do anything. They have slow. They have summoning weakness.
Yeah,
That we bomb rush with high value one drops and
yeah.
or two drops.
And playing around
Levels,
the different options was great.
playing around freezing, playing around lightning blade, playing
Yeah,
around ice, the ice freezing aura, and generally the lightning good stuff.
yeah, exactly.
That's a weird move. Why would he play that sunflower that gives nothing to the board? That lifts nothing. That
Yeah, also, like, he could have played Vicious Sunflower in a better position,
behind
but
the tower.
yeah,
Tower.
we're not gonna worry about that. Like,
Here we have like the next move where you said you trade it because
it's a free trade. Yep.
correct. It's correct. They were considered rally the town. But you said like Salahar is a good trade to Vicious Sunflower, which is correct. It is like a good trade. And then you like bomb rush, hit face, watang.
Yeah, it's all about optimizing your trades when you're both early game. Like at this point in the game, we realize he's down to 3 cards. He's got an early game deck as well. And so if you're kind of evenly matched on you're both early game or you're both mid game or you're both late game, and nobody has the advantage at any point, it's all about optimizing your trades. So you just traded a 1 gold unit into his 2 gold unit. There's value, right?
And then we can also deal damage to one of his units.
Yeah.
Also, and then the cool trick you said, which I also know.
Yeah. And then at this point, there's basically nothing he can do to come back from it.
Fire does nothing. Dragon's Fire does nothing. It just reduces their health. And this is RNGesus. And then we have the top second armory, but we played Rally the Town because it provides more value on the board.
Yeah,
Basically steamrolled the game now.
for sure.
Just steam tempos. Just steamroll. still playing around freezing pillar because that could still potentially be a problem.
Yeah. And then
Split
at,
arm rate,
at this
any
point, you
second
realize
point
there's
control.
absolutely nothing that he could have done. Like, there are no cards that exist in the game that he could have dealt with all your threats. And then another awesome top deck. So
Centaur, just to like, you never to say you never stood a chance.
so even watching it back, really, I don't think there were any changes that
Any better?
we would have done.
Nothing that
Like,
could make it better.
yeah, I mean, we're
The
kind of cooperating. We're kind of cooperating on that one to make the decisions, but pretty awesome that, like, watching it back and you're thinking, yeah, there are no differences I would have made. And if you, I mean, in this game, it's a bit unfortunate that we don't have as many content creators, top
Pretty sad.
top people who are streaming or anything. But if you're watching a casting
There's only,
conflicts,
like,
for example,
Master.
yeah, if you're watching casting conflicts, a good way to learn from that is you watch the video and then pause right when it's about to be their turn and kind of decide, okay, what would I do in their situation? And then figure it all out.
Who genuinely
And then
would
resume the
play
turn and see, okay, what happened? What was their choice? What did they decide to do? And then if it's
the good
different,
analysis?
yeah, if it's different than what you decided you would do, then
There either is like
there's something wrong with your decision or their decision.
or
And
something wrong with their decision, or like it's like both good plays, you just have different play styles.
yeah, but anytime there is a difference, then you should be like,
Just be
okay, so
questioning yourself.
why? Yeah,
Just be real. Yeah. You question yourself. Why did he play this? Why would I want to play this?
yeah.
Is
And
it
the other
because
thing
they have
to,
different play styles? Or is it something that I've oversighted or they oversighted?
yeah,
It's basic stuff.
especially when they're playing a very similar deck to yours, and then you look at the final result of, like, oh hey, they maybe in casting conflicts you're seeing an aggressive deck and they lost the game. And you're like, okay, I gotta note down what made them lose the game. What was the weakness? And then, is there a way to play around that, or do I have to change my deck to be able to beat that? And I mean, sometimes the answer is it's just not possible to play around that, and there will always be bad matchups and bad RNG. So
That's true. That's
sometimes losses just happen. There's nothing you can do about it. There's like a theory for some other games that basically say, like, 30% of the games you're gonna win no matter what. You just had better luck. You had the counter matchup, whatever. Like, it's a free game. And then 30% of the games, it's an auto lose. Like, there's nothing you could have done about it. You'd had bad luck or you got countered. And it's those 40% of games that are left over in the middle where your decisions really matter. And that's what gets you, like, a good win rate.
play the game.
Yeah, so you could get up to, like, 70% win rate if you're playing optimally. But
It's possible.
but
You could just like,
I mean, that you have to be playing perfectly in all your games,
which is difficult.
which is
We're not-
difficult. Yeah.
all of us are not all of us are unhelpful Yodas.
Yeah. No. I mean, he plays a.
Perfection. Like, God tier perfection. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he just played
Never makes
so many times that anytime he sees a situation, he thinks, like, oh yeah, I've been in this situation before, I know how to handle it. And so yeah, a lot of it comes from experience too. But yeah, hopefully we got some. Oh yeah. I mean, I hate to sound like that, but
Hopefully we've learned something today in this class. You know?
partially the video too. Like, if people are watching, hopefully they learn some of the same things that we went over.
Okay, for you viewers, here's my number one suggestion. Freaking play one drops. Don't just spam pass turn. You'll die to rush, okay?
Yeah.
You'll die to rush. I've seen so many people just pass, and then I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, that goes
I'm like,
back to when we were talking about deck building. It was like, okay, what are your weaknesses in this deck? And you just like think about that. And if
your
you're
weaknesses
building a
is
deck and you're
the
or if someone else is building a deck and they realize their weakness is rush, then yeah, definitely put in some more early game units, 1 drops, 2 drops. Put in
brings a
some,
lot of riders. A lot of riders look strong every time. Makes me sad.
yeah.
True.
So
Or just
have
where you're at.
have a game plan. Have a game plan on how you're going to deal with rush, and then as soon as you realize you're in a game against rush, like if you look at their colors and think, oh, this is probably a rush deck, then mulligan
No,
accordingly.
that's how
I know rush is very
Rush is
versatile,
never.
but
Rush can be anything.
I know,
Like,
but
it's insane. Like,
there are some
you can't
colors
just
that are
assume.
there are some colors that tend to be rush more than others.
I
So
don't know about that because in my I have every single color via Rush.
I mean, if
So I
you're
don't really know that.
I mean, if you're playing against if someone's playing against you, they probably can guess it's a rush deck. But I'm saying like if you're playing against a random guy that you've never seen before and they're playing yellow, you can guess that it's probably not a rush deck because generally
I
people don't
mean,
pick
yeah,
yellow for
somewhat,
rush.
I guess.
Anyway, but like figure out your matchup, figure out your weaknesses in deck building and plan accordingly. Like mulligan is so overlooked, I think. Some people totally disregard mulligan. They mulligan the same for every matchup.
Huh?
And
Huh?
I don't know, I think that's
Mm, like,
such a mistake.
like it depends.
Yeah,
Like
like
if the same hand is versatile against like every single matchup, which is rare. Yeah, it's better to keep the same hand. At least it has consistency, I would say.
there are
Like
some
only like if your hand is actually like good against most matchups.
yeah,
You
there
can't
are,
just replay around every single matchup at the same
no,
time.
exactly, but you're not playing against every matchup at the same time
Yeah,
once you
that's
get
the
into
thing.
the
That's the
mulligan
thing.
phase. And like obviously there are some cards like if you drew Kraken in your opening mulligan,
You
then
would just yeet it away.
no
You
matter
would
what the
throw away
matchup
the
is, yeah, no matter what the matchup is, you're throwing it away.
that away.
But there are
It's
some
more like
cards that
later
are
on.
situationally good. And the other one, I mean, we didn't encounter this situation, but I see people throwing away their win conditions. Like if you're playing a last will deck and they throw,
It depends on what win condition you have because some win conditions are expensive.
some are, but
You don't
like,
want to have them.
okay,
It depends on
say your main win condition is like Andrew, you're playing a last will deck, and
yeah, that's cheaper compared to like 9 drops, 8 drops.
oh, okay, no, but that's not usually a win condition.
I guess you're right. I don't know. I'm a rush player. I play no int. I play rush. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
my biggest suggestion for you to improve as a player at the end of this
To play other decks.
is to
Basically.
try stuff you're uncomfortable with, and
Damn it! You're forcing me to play freeze.
well,
No.
you don't have to,
You're
but
forcing me to play stick rats.
like
No.
play 3 games of it maybe, and then uh, you'll know the deck better so that you can play against it better. I know.
I'm dying right now.
But at the same time, yeah, there's something to be said about like it's a game meant to have fun. The goal of the game is to have fun. So just play what you want. There's an argument for that too.